Hello, hello. Soundly here. Kind of seen this resurgence lately of this tabletop perspective stuff. I don't get it. So I figured I'd go ahead and do my own little experiment and debunk this nonsense. Hello, everyone. Let me see if I can get this arranged to where I can have the chat up while I'm actually talking to you guys as well. Let's share on screen one. Pop over here. Pull this chat down to here. All right. Should manage to make this work somewhat, right? Hi, Sue. Hello, hello. Okay. So I've been seeing these resurgence, like I was saying a minute ago, of these tabletop perspective experiments that the flat earthers do, where they hide their camera underneath the ledge to, I don't know, somehow prove that sunsets are possible in the flat earth. It's complete nonsense. And a lot of them actually use, I don't know if they know they're using a curved table, but they have a table that's not exactly flat. So what I decided to do today is find the most level surface that I thought I could find, and to actually set up an experiment where I use a laser level, which they never do. They never actually prove that their table is flat. So and let's go through the process of what I did. I took some dominoes and this is what I did. I set up a laser level at about 6 inches away from the edge of my countertop. And this is how I had it set up. So the laser level, this is a bubble level. Basically, it's a torpedo level with the laser on the end of it. So I set up this bubble level right here to actually be at 6 inches. And then I actually have a domino down there that's also at 6 inches. It's a better picture here, you can see. So there's a domino down there that's also at 6 inches. And so that laser level is right on the edge of the domino at 6 inches. That's me just establishing my line. And then I decided I was just going to set some dominoes up on that laser line right there. And let's see how that progressed. There we go. There's some better shots. So 6 inches here, 6 inches there. Yep, see? Set it up on the edge like that. And there you go. Right at 6 inches. Laser level is right on the side of the domino. And this is the second domino. Notice that this is the second domino here, guys. So the first domino I set up first, just like this. And then the second domino I set up, and I know it's set up perfect whenever there's no laser light on that back domino right there. And so, yeah, I used the laser level to actually line up all the dominoes in a perfect line. This is me making progress here. And they're about 4 inches apart. That's another thing. I put them pretty much 4 inches apart. And here's me making more progress, lining them all up. And that's the last one, I believe. I think that was the last one. So there's all the dominoes lined up. Yep, here's all the gear I used. And there's the last one at 6 inches from the edge. And then here, you can see the lasers right here, right at about 3/8 of an inch right here. I think that's eighths. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So 3/8 of an inch right there, Mark. That's on the far end where the furthest away from the laser domino is. And then here is the close end, 3/8 of an inch. So the laser is blasting straight across those dominoes. And there you go. There's a little out of focus shot. There you go. There's the far end. So that's what it looks like whenever you actually set up objects on a flat surface and then actually verify like the straight line with the laser. You can actually see there are some a little bit. There's a little bit of a slight curve in the top itself, but the laser, boom, straight as an arrow. So if we were talking about flat Earth perspective, this magic perspective that they think everything sinks as it goes over the distance of a countertop, which is completely absurd, um, then you would expect these lasers to be converging, like the reflection of the laser and this actual laser right here. You expect it to converge, and they don't, because their experiments are completely and utterly ridiculous, if not blatant fraud and deception, which most of them probably are. And so here's some shots. This took me all of what, 30 minutes, guys, to do it right. And look, here's a little flat Earth sunrise for you guys. I mean, this is what flat earthers do right here. They lower their camera to the point where the edge is literally above the the um, the center of the lens. So they're having the edge of the table obstruct their view further down, and that's what they do. And if anybody that's gullible enough, right here, this right here, go back to that frame, that frame right there. That's how they set up their camera, and then they usually they angle their camera up so that you don't really see that edge. It's like at the bottom, and then they claim that that is somehow showing some type of, um, you know, perspective is causing things to sink bottom first. And it's bullcrap. What they're doing is they're obstructing their camera with the freaking edge of the table. That's what they're doing. And then they're doing it over curved tables and not lining things up properly. They're putting it, they're actually lining the things up in a curve. That's what they do. They're just deceptive defamation artists is what they are. That's a pretty good shot right there. They also don't give you any context in the background. That's another thing I wanted to do, is give some context in the background right here so you can see exactly where the the straightness ended right here. So you can see where the dominoes end and see that they're all still clearly visible above the countertop. And there's no reason in the world that it wouldn't be, right? I mean, it makes no sense whatsoever, um, that people would think that. Let's see here. I'm not gonna look. I'm not gonna look at the chat just yet. I see a bunch of stuff going on over there, but let me get finished with these pictures. Just more pictures. Pretty much the same scene. I mean, there's not really much more to show. When you line things up straight and you use lasers, you get things straight and sharp edges. Then you can see that there isn't any sinking, especially over a freaking countertop. It's ridiculous. There's no reason at all to even think that there would be. I mean, for anyone to even make that claim is completely absurd. Yeah. So this is what proper setup looks like. And why don't they do that? Why don't they prove that they're actually shooting over a level surface? Why don't they raise the camera up above the surface? Because no observer is buried in the ground. We're not talking about why does the sunset for people that are half buried in the ground, with their eyeball half buried in the ground. That's not what we're talking about. And that's not, so it's not even a valid experiment that they do. What we're talking about is, what does an observer above the ground, or like, for example, if I go up in the mountains and I can still see the sunset, explain that, like move your camera up to a mountain altitude and then show the sun setting. By the way, the sun does not travel on the ground, guys. Okay. all these flat Earth experiments are set up so that the sun is drug across the ground. Like, how ridiculous is that? First of all, they hide their camera underneath the edge of the table, and then they drag the sun across the ground. Like, that's when's the last time you guys saw the sun on the ground? Everybody, please, not all at once. I mean, it's completely absurd when they do that. Are they actually conning people? That's what I want to know. Are there actually people that are that gullible to look at that and go, "Oh yeah, sun's on the ground. That makes complete sense." Uh-huh. I mean, think about that. But where's the sun really, y'all? It's like way up in the air, you know? Like it makes no sense. And even this right here is like way too close to the ground, right? Makes absolutely no sense to have the sun on the ground. And by the way, look at the sun as it's changing angular size as it moves away. You know, the whole thing makes absolutely no sense. It's comical. Um, and my question is, are there people that actually buy into that? You know, versus actually setting something up with a nice little laser level, getting straight lines, making sure everything's nice and neat. Making sure your surface is level. Like they don't ever prove that the surface is even level. None of them do. It's crazy. Anyway, so this was my last shot. It was actually probably the best shot, I think, where I could get most of the dominoes in focus. It's kind of hard to get stuff, in focus all the way on the very end and then all the way close to you, especially with these macro shots like this. Um, it's pretty tough. It's just tough shot to get in focus. Um, so yeah, this was probably the best one. Hmm, Let me, let me, yeah, there we go. That's probably the best one. So yeah. So anytime you guys, see these ridiculous um, flat Earth experiments where they're, um, trying to show things sinking on a tabletop like Legos, that's completely absurd. And anyone to believe it, I'm sorry, but you're just gullible and you're being deceived. And I really hope that you guys will look at this. Um, anyone who's actually on the fence about flat Earth will actually look at this and say, I can actually do this myself with a little $20 um, torpedo level with a laser on it. They have torpedo levels with lasers on it. It's like $20 on the internet. Get one of those, get a box of dominoes or Legos or something, and go set it up on the flattest surface you can find. And in the reason I use this laser, a good reason to use the laser is because then you can compare the straight laser line against your surface line and tell if there's any deviations. I mean, you can look at my surface line and tell that there is a slight slope on the top of my stone there. It's a little bit. It doesn't exactly perfectly track. And of course, that actually could be the imperfections in the dominoes as well. I mean, the dominoes aren't perfect either. But the laser level helps you to kind of, you know, tell, what actual straightness is. And that's what is amazing is that the flat earthers get away with never doing this whenever you could go buy one of these little cheap laser levels at Home Depot for $20. It's online for $20 at Home Depot. Go get it. All right. That was pretty much all I wanted to chat about on that. Let me look at the chat real quick, and then I'm going to go on to a different topic. Flat Out Hero, hey Sally, how do you like all the vids I posted showing? I have no idea what you posted, dude. I don't watch your channel. Um, it's not flat. Sorry, buddy. If you did take a picture from the side, then you're only getting like, depending on your field of view, a mile, maybe. You know, So of course it's going to look flat in a mile. Moron. Put 24 miles in single frame, buddy, and you'll see it's curved. So why didn't you do that, Flat Out Hero? I wonder, Flat Out Hero, why you didn't actually go to my locations and take pictures from my locations showing the curvature. Too scared to do that, Flat Out? That's what I thought. Yeah. Put more dominoes up, Soundly, be honest. Dude, I've got and probably double the amount of items on this tabletop than anybody else has put on there. Flat Out Hero. These guys just come to troll. It's all they do. They know that the Earth is a globe. I don't know why they're motivated to lie about it. But these guys like Flat Out Hero just come in here and just spout nonsense. He either is blatantly lying or he is delusional. It's one or the other. I mean, I don't know if there can be any other third choice, unless somebody's holding a gun to his head, making him type this stuff. Okay, let's see. Yeah, funny how flat earthers never go grab a measuring device. That's true. Put a laser on it. If you don't prove your surface is flat, then it's not flat. Hillel Finder, I would love for you to come to Punch Train. It would be great. All right. Okay, so I think I'm caught up on the chat there. I wanted to talk about a particular observation, the one that I took from. So this is part 2 of this little hangout here. I wanted to talk about this observation here. I went and found the raw image and I pulled it into Lightroom and I tried to just crank up the clarity a little bit in the dehaze. And when I did, I kind of noticed oh god, that is so irritating, isn't it? I think I've actually saved this as a file. Let me see. Did I save this? Here, let me just export it again. Save this to the desktop. Save it to pictures. Okay, sure. Okay. Let me move this back over there. Let me see. Drop that. What? Come on, man. Drop it. There we go. All right, go to pictures. And where was that picture? This one? Yeah, there it is. Okay. All right, so let's look at this picture here. This is the picture I took from Marriott Hotel, 15th floor of 3 Lakeway Center. And the reason I actually brought this in to clear it up was because I was chatting with somebody on Facebook about this, and he was claiming that that the windmill was too high and that he was seeing buildings. So he was saying that the windmill, he was pointing to this, saying that the windmill is too high. You can see the whole windmill, and you could see the buildings on the other side. And well, that's just not true. So I want to, and this is the same guy that started off by saying that this was a whole nother water tower that's literally out of frame. So I had to show him with basic angles in Google Earth that this was actually the water tower that we've pointed out before. But I wanted to point something out real quick. I came and cleared this up right here because this is what I was looking for right here. See, that right there is the wind turbine. This right here, that is a cell phone tower. And I will show you that in Google Earth. Actually, Maps. Maps is really good now. Let me see. Give me a second to pull down a Chrome window. Where is my Chrome window? All right, let me see here. Chrome window. And we'll go to Maps, like Google.com. check this out. Okay, so this is the area we're talking about, North Shore. Let me back up, give some perspective. Taking a picture from the Marriott down here, across the causeway here. And on the left side, right here, actually might not be a cell phone tower, it might be just a radio tower. So you see this big shadow right here? Yeah, that's a gigantic tower right there. And just to show you how big it is, let's go to Street View. Drop it in here. What? Come on. There we go. So yeah, that's a really large tower as compared to this windmill right here. Let's move so I can see it better. So here's the windmill. There's the radio tower or cell tower. So that's what we're seeing in that picture. There's this cell tower right here. And then let's go back to this picture again. Okay, so at this height, the horizon is about 16 miles away. So this right here, which is sitting on, I'm doing it again. I need to go back to the other window. The zoom doesn't work very well in Lightroom. Where's the window? There it is. Okay, so this right here is the fender system at the 16-mile bascule. So this is the bascule at 16 miles. This is the fender system right here. And that's the big cell tower right there, which, by the way, is not completely visible. It's in the water. So the question is, what's this? Because they were claiming that's a building. No, that's not a building. That is part of the fender system. So let me show you. Where's the bascule? There it is. Okay, here's the bascule here. That's what you're seeing right there. This part of the fender system. We go down to Street View. Boop. Yeah, that's what you're seeing right there. So for people that it's amazing. I talk to flat earthers on different social media platforms, and it's amazing how they look at Walter Bislin's model. They look at the observation, and then they are so fiberglass. What's the word? Uh, what's the word? Fiberglassed? I can't even say it. They're so rattled that when they see that for the first time, that they go about trying to figure out why it can't be true, and then they make up all this stuff in their head, and they look at this photograph like this, and they go, oh well, you can see the buildings all on the other side, and you can see the wind turbine and blah blah blah, and it's like, no, dude, no. Why are you trying to invent things instead of just going and doing a little research and figuring it out, for yourself, like what's actually there? Because what's actually there makes sense with the globe model. Period. That's all there is to it. Unfortunately, you have people that in this flat Earth movement that are just brainwashed. I don't know if brainwashing is an actual thing. They're just fundamentalists. They really do have this like cult mentality. Evidence doesn't work. It's all emotional based. And any evidence they do try and provide or create is just ad hoc excuses really for why it can still work on a flat Earth, which it can't. And we all know that. It can't work on a flat Earth. Flatbergasted. Yeah, that's right. Flatbergasted. Flabbergasted. Yes, that's it. Flabbergasted. You couldn't say it for some reason. But yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to kind of point that out. I've given context on that particular image a number of times, and I would be happy to do it again. But I'm actually looking for ideas from you guys on how I can stop answering the same questions over and over. Because we're to the point now where I've answered all the questions, and quite literally, it's like it's just replication over and over again. The same people. Let's go look at my YouTube comments for a little fun. Let's see. Let's go to my channel and let's look at comments. Actually, I have to do that in Creator Studio. And community. Comments. Here we go. Like I get comments like this all the time. What a load of BS. You should be ashamed. From a 0 subscriber, you know, probably just created this account to, this is probably Riley. He's the infinite troll. Holy crap, your videos attract a lot of flat earth vitriol. Yes, they do, Scott Meyer. Yes, they do. Let's see. I saw one earlier. Let's see. Have you seen this? Try this one. What? Haven't seen this. Wait, haven't seen, then tried this once. Does that make any sense to anybody? What? One visit to my channel debunks everything you stand for. That is hilarious. That's the type of comments I get from these guys. Enslaved by no media. Let's look at that guy's channel. Let's just see. Just advertising, advertising a flat earth channel. That's all it is. The sun is just right above the clouds. You can tell by the sun rays. Okay, yeah, it's a joke. I just saw one earlier today. Oh yeah, stuff like this. You globetarps, how small the globe is to see such a curve. And if it's curved, it should curve both ways, retards. How many times? I mean, really. How many times have we talked about the horizon shouldn't curve based on our model, and the curve that you do see is based on our model? How many times have we said that? So like, I legitly, like, just whenever I have videos like this, I just pin Walter Bislin's model to the pin post, and I just tell them, see the pin post, because it's like, how many times? How many times have we answered it? It's amazing. It really is amazing. This guy is actually remarking on, he must live in the area. He's remarking on how dangerous it is to park by the causeway, by the transmission lines. Yeah, like that place is super dangerous. I got to a point where I took the best photograph I thought I could take from that location, and I just, like, there's no reason to go back. There's no reason to put myself in danger, for any of this anymore, since I've got the best photograph I can possibly get with my kit. So, yeah, it's interesting, man. These comments are actually hilarious. Look at this. Tell your Mason friends the jig is up. Dude, what is wrong with people? Spreadsheets to get the best conditions versus looks flat to me. Yeah, exactly, Mark. Exactly. Your channel's irrelevant, hence you can't win the 10K challenge. This guy, Colorado, is just I don't know. He's like stalking me. There's another guy named Unsoundly on Twitter that just stalks me, and I just pretty much ignore him for the most part. But they're talking about this 10K challenge from Dubai. There is no challenge. There's probably not even a 10K. Probably the money doesn't exist. So I'm going to put this out there for all the flat earthers. Okay, this is what we'll do. We will. You will put your money up in a uh, and an escrow account. Okay, you will put your money up in an escrow account. Okay, and then we'll make it real simple. We'll get a panel of 9 random people uh, from wherever. Let's just go to a local mall. Get 9 random people. You show them your evidence. I'll show 'em my evidence. Whoever gets the most votes gets to bring the money home. How about that? But I'm not putting my money up. But if you really want to put 10K up, let's do that. All right, let's go do that because I'll win. I'll win every time. Normal, everyday people walking around in the mall. This is the type of stuff I get right here. You, sir, are a fool paid to propagate BS. Your globe is not real. Dude, are these people for real? Like, are they? I pose this question to my chat again. Do you guys really think that these types of people actually exist? Like, they actually believe what they're saying, or do you think that they're just trolling? Because if they actually believe what they're saying, those type of people really don't belong. Like, in everyday life. I mean, they're crazy. There's something wrong with them. Um, you're paid. If people actually believe that NASA cares enough to go and pay people to shill for them, they're out of their mind. Like, they really need psychological help at that point. All right, let's see what's going on over here. I can't catch up here. I can't tell where I was. Oh, here we go. I was there. All right, nobody talked to me. Nobody talked to me. Nobody talked to me. And then somebody talks to me. Dolphin off. I was one of the first to comment on PW's video with bottles on the table. I warned him that he was going to look stupid if he left it up. He blocked me to show his thanks. PW, is that? Oh yeah, that's Fugit Word. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. They're not honest. They're not honest at all. They hide behind a voice, or they hide behind a voice actor. And for a while Nathan Oakley was like that. He just speak with this blah 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 blah, and he had his voice, and he was all nice and calm demeanored, and then he freaking fell off the rails. It was like episode, I don't know, 90 something. He just fell off the rails, and he hasn't been back on the rails since. Somebody actually, it was Tim Osmond, actually pointed me towards a video clip on Nathan's show. And I usually don't watch their show at all, but if somebody actually sends me a clip, I'll go watch it. And anyway, I was watching their show, and there was some poor globe Earth guy on there that's just getting slammed by Nathan Oakley. Nathan Oakley talking all over him. Well, guys, don't go on that show. It makes no sense whatsoever to go on that show. You got a freaking tyrant in Nathan Oakley that is just going to um, talk over everyone. It's not a free speech platform at all. If you make points, he'll just talk over you and blah blah blah, and he'll gish gallop, and then he'll make a point that makes no sense, like he's trying to trap somebody into some type of word salad corner. So he makes a point that makes no sense, and quite literally, it would take 15 seconds for me to make him look like an idiot. But it's his show. He's going to talk over people. He's going to make people look dumb because that's his shtick. That's how he gets the clicks, the drama. He gets his clicks, and I do think he has like a little anger issue. Seems like to me. Once in a while, he lets it out. But yeah, don't go on that show. Don't even watch that show. I mean, they're con men. They are the train wreck, and I understand that. People like watching the train wreck, but they're con men. And how many people and how many times have they defamed How many times have they been proven wrong? How many times have they been shown blatantly lying about things? And they're constantly crawfishing once they get caught. Oh, that's not what I said. I said this and I meant this and blah blah blah. And it's like it's why they have no moral compass. They have no ethics. Like why would we even go there? At all. Jose's in the chat. What's up, Jose? And say a slave by no brain cells. Did I? I said retard? Oh, my bad. You know what I mean. They're mentally handicapped, or I don't know. I don't know the proper way to say that, the PC way to say that, but there's something wrong with them, guys. There really is. And they're just. I really do. I have stalkers now. It's amazing. They just want to. I go to Twitter. Once in a while, I'll stop by on Twitter and see what's been going on there. And there's just one guy unsoundly that just sends messages to me one after another after another. Shit, I don't read all those. What the hell is he doing? Yeah. So I do have a video, Dolphin off. I have a video called Left to Right Curvature, where I do go out to the 90 degrees from the transmission lines, and I actually pan my camera across from left to right. And what you'll see is the transmission lines directly in front of me are up above the water, basically. And then as you go to the left or to the right, you can see that there's less and less of the transmission line, like ratio wise, that's visible. Even though, yeah, it is, since it's going further away, perspective makes it appear smaller. But not only does it appear smaller, but there's, it's being obstructed more and more and more as it gets further away. Well, that's exactly what you would expect to see. The only way you're going to see curvature left to right is if you have an object, a string of transmission lines, causeway, something like that, that's tall enough to where when you're looking out across the horizon, it's following that great circle route and you can see the curvature that way, left to right. But you have to have something that sits high enough above the horizon to where you can capture it like that. Otherwise, you can't capture it left to right, especially at low altitudes, because it's just a different geometry altogether. Hill Finder says there's no challenge and there probably no 10K yet. Well, he's quoting me. Yeah, there is no challenge, and there probably isn't any money either. Sally, did you see the comment thread I emailed you? Yeah, I did. I went and read it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, Kesey's on Twitter as well. Kesey, I always call you Kesey. Is that right? Am I pronouncing that right? I think it is. Or maybe it's Casey. Yeah, if you go look at Unsoundly's about section, he says that he's Sal. And yeah, that dude is he's got to be clinically something wrong with him. I don't want to say, I don't want to go too far there, but there's got to be something wrong with him. Cognitive dissonance. Yeah, I mean, we use these words like Dunning-Kruger, cognitive dissonance. But it really comes down to one thing: the inability to reason. And I like to generalize it because that's really what it comes. You can basically lump all of them into that category. They have the inability to reason. They don't understand what evidence is. They don't understand like when evidence should be convincing, and that's because of some innate core cultish type mindset that there's these core beliefs that they won't give up. Because it scares them to give it up, and that's why they have in the back of their mind, well, someone must have a solution to this, even though I don't understand it. Someone must be able to make sense of this, and I'm gonna I'm just going to keep on believing it because I know that somebody else can answer this question even though I can't. That's the way they think. It's really weird. They don't think for themselves. They think that somebody has an answer. And I've seen it in other places in religious circles. Um, and like I said, I'm Christian, but I've seen it amongst other Christians, that mindset. And even, inside of the Christian community, there's a recognition that there's, truly some problem areas that where people can just get that way. I don't know how else to explain it. Their pastor tells them something's true, they believe it. That's it. They never think about it, and they're convinced that their pastor knows why it's true, and that's all they need to know. Same thing with flat earthers. They're shepherds. They're shepherd. They have shepherds, and they're the sheep. They're the flock, and they just believe what their shepherds tell them. So it's very crazy. Okay, let's see. Jose's in the chat. What he said: it is fun to have honest discussions. I mean, conversations with people that oppose your point of view, as long as one don't try to push other to agree or disagree. If you know what I mean. Jose, I totally agree with you. Me and you during our chats. I mean, we've had some private conversations, and then we did that hangout together. You've been very polite, and I have nothing bad to say about you whatsoever, brother. Yeah, we disagree, and that's okay. Let's see here. Da-da-da. Flat Earth is very predatory soundly. Once the fake flat earthers find a true believer, they isolate them from any good thinking. Jamie Brown is a good example. Who else does that is Bro Sanchez. Bro Sanchez will block anybody that's not a flat earther. Um, then he'll kick them out of the stream. He'll badmouth them, defame them. And what they do is what these guys like Bro Sanchez do is they build an echo chamber on purpose. They're building a buffer around these people because they figure if they can just keep them brainwashed, or if they can keep them in this cult mentality long enough, then they'll make enough money off of them that they won't ever have to see them again. I mean, that's what comes down to it for a lot of them. So I thought I saw a comment. Oh, there it came through. Let's try and keep it a little clean in the chat, guys. Yeah, so that was pretty much it. Just wanted to show you guys I did that little experiment about 30 minutes in my house today, just for fun, because you know it's one of those things that it's so absurd to even think that there would be anything like uh, curvature of the earth on a table, or that things would disappear from the bottom first on a table. That is so absurd that I think we find ourselves going, what do you say about that? It's like somebody saying the sky is red, and you're like, no, it isn't, and yeah, it is. Okay, what do you say at that point? I mean, that's where we are with this whole tabletop experiments thing that the flat earthers do. They don't understand perspective. It's amazing. They talk about perspective being their almighty savior, that somehow makes the flat plane appear to be exactly like a sphere, uh, yet they don't even understand it. What's really amazing is that it was like 7 months ago that people were saying over and over again, the horizon always rises to eye level, water is always flat and level. Um, They were saying that over and over again. It always rises to eye level. It always rises to eye level. And then we show them pictures where it doesn't rise to eye level. And what do they say? Perspective. It's like, wait, does it always rise to eye level, or is it perspective and atmospheric magnification and atmospheric lensing and refraction? Which one is it? Eye level or refraction? Because it goes back and forth. They change over and over, and they jump on refraction like that's something magically going to save them now, uh, and uh, and it doesn't. Refraction, the index of refraction, makes light bend towards the more dense air. That's ultimately the end result. The end result is light bends towards more dense air. More dense air is closer to the ground. Therefore, standard refraction causes things in the distance that should be behind the curve to be seen more easily. It actually straightens the curve out. So in that case, whenever you come to, an observation like this is taking refraction into account. So if there were no refraction, if we just got rid of refraction, it wouldn't help us. I mean, it wouldn't help them. That's the whole thing. Like refraction makes absolutely no sense. It does the exact opposite of what they're claiming it to do. And then they want to talk about mirages. Well, every one of your observations has mirages. Do you see a mirage in this? Because I don't. There's no mirage in this observation. Come on, Lightroom. Your whole Zoom is terrible, Lightroom. You need to fix that. Where's the file? Go away. Okay. Where did I save it? Pictures. Here it is. Here's the file. Okay. So there's no mirage. There's no mirage in this picture. And they're always talking about mirages on the horizon, or reflection or uh, convergence band. They come up with all types of creative words to call it. But here's the thing. What about all this? What about all this curvature right here? Okay, because the horizon's 16 miles away, and this is 8 miles away. Okay, so and then this right side of the frame over here, that's 4 miles away. So from 4 to 8 miles we see curvature. From 8 to 16 miles we see curvature. Then the horizon. No explanation for that, flat earthers. None. Other than it's a globe. What? What's going on? I saw a sad face over here. Jamie Brown is questioning the flat earth? Really? Wow, that's progress. Good. I need some of those guys to do that. Of course, we had a guy do that. His name was Tiger Dan, and the flat earthers literally chased him away. I have not heard from Tiger Dan, and well, it's been at least 2 years, huh? How long has it been since Tiger Dan was wrapping up his stuff? I've always said I would love to interview Tiger Dan. So if anybody knows Tiger Dan, I would love to interview him and just see where he's at these days. Or if he has a new channel or something anybody knows about, let me know. NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory Lover Genius XCB. You need to shorten your name. Oh, Jesus. I'm doing good, man. Shall I be the moderator? Wrench me, buddy. I like my moderators to tell me if I should add another moderator. So if somebody like Factard or Hillel Finder, or whatever moderators I have here, they can go look at the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory guy. Tell me if he's good to be a moderator or not. I did do an experiment once where I made a concave earther a moderator that didn't go too well. Ninja Man, WTF am I seeing? Sally lives on a very small cylinder. You see, guys? You see? this is what I deal with every single day. It's like they don't ever get caught up on the context. They don't know what's going on. So they just make this comment, and you know that this is a flat earther talking point. Like, you know how many of them say this every single day? Like, there's some smoke-filled room somewhere out there where somebody's typing up all the talking points for flat earthers that day, and they always bring this up, that it looks like a very small cylinder. Actually, no, Ninja Man, it looks exactly like we expect it to look on a globe, buddy. We've modeled it in 3D, and I say that every time, and they don't listen or they run away. So, you know. What? Rest in peace, Sally. Doesn't make me a moderator. I'm sorry, dude. Emotional appeals don't work on me. Either my admins think you should be a moderator or you shouldn't, and after that comment, probably not. George, yeah, George's observations were pretty awesome. He actually he put his targets on the tangent line, and then you could see his targets on the tangent line straight, and you could see the ice dropping off underneath it. Another proof of curvature. All right, let's see. Let me try and catch up here. Blah blah blah. Who is Jamie Brown? He's just a flat earther. He's been around for a while. DKG Custom. What about their argument that your observation means the globe would be tiny? Want to hear from you, Sally. See, this is what we have to combat, right? This is what we have to combat is that they don't start here. They don't start on this channel. They don't look at all the footage that I showed you guys yesterday, all of the work that I put into it. They don't see Walter Bislin's models. They don't, you know, they don't. I mean, just yesterday I showed this. It was just yesterday on the show yesterday that I showed that my observations do in fact match exactly what you expect to see on a globe DKG custom. And of course, they're going to have to say something. They're going to have to come up with something. And so they find their choice way of going about it is mockery, right? They're going for mockery because they have nothing else. So let me show you. You know, I have to do this. You know, I don't have to do it, but I do it very often for comments just like this over and over again. But that's coming from somewhere, right? That type of comment is coming from some root source. There's some person saying, "Oh, he must live on a cylinder," or something like that. You know, like they're doing that mockery, knowing that the majority of their listeners aren't ever going to rationally think about it. And so I'm doing this right here. I'm showing you this DKG custom. Is that there's this guy named Walter Bislin who actually put together 3D models of the causeway and various other scenes as well, like the transmission lines, Rainy Lake, Little Texas Bayou, Chicago. There's a whole bunch of other ones. So he put together these models, and then you compare those models with the actual observations. So the model is saying it's making a prediction. You know, based on the model, you can say, okay, based on this model, this is what the scene should look like from this angle at this focal length. You know, now what happens when we go into the real world and actually take a picture at that location with the same focal length? That's what you get. You get exactly what you expect to see on a globe. And they can't handle that. You know, the flat earth shepherds can't handle that that's the truth. And that is how science works. I mean, you create a model and you test your model. That's what we've done, right? I mean, at this point, we've done full circle. We've actually created the model, tested the model. And I have so many observations now that Walter was able to take those observations and incorporate them. As I produce more observations, he takes that observation. He asks me where I was at, you know, what focal length I was using. I tell him all that information. He goes to that location in his model. He goes to that focal length, and they match. You know, that's just it's just this is Jesse Kozlowski's observation that he incorporated into it. You know, uh, and then you know this is a his animated stuff is really awesome. So like I point people to that, but there's actually a whole nother page where you have some static um, examples. Let me see if I can find that real quick. The other page, let's see. That is. Where is it? Comparison of globe and flat Earth model predictions with reality. I think this might be it. Taking a long time to load for some reason. Oh, what has happened? Okay. I'm not sure what happened there. Oh. Hello, hello, hello. Did Walter's site go down? Or did I get disconnected? What happened? Huh. Okay, I'm not disconnected. Okay. Let me come over here and make sure I didn't lose connection or something. Once I uploaded my same piece of footage, I wonder if Walter would model it. I bet he would, Hillel. I bet he would. If you give it to him, he'll probably model it. Oh, the tiny globe is an odd argument. Yeah, it's a very odd argument because they went from water always finds its level. It's always flat. It's always level. Always rises to eye level. They go from that to it never curves. It never curves. And then they go from that to, oh, that's too curved. That's too curved. Okay. So you admit it's not flat. Oh, great. We can, if you want to argue globe Earth versus tiny globe Earth, hey, that's a whole nother argument. Okay, y'all still got me good. Hey, Sebastian, what's up? It's been a long time, man. Okay. Let me see. So let me see if I can find this page again. So he does have a comparison. I thought this was it right here, but it's not. Oh, it loaded that time. That's weird. Here it is. Yep. Here's the comparison page right here. So he has, you know, he has the model, photograph, model, photograph. You know, basically what was on that other animation, but he includes like some of the different animations together. So this is the transmission lines prediction. And this is what's interesting is, you know, you have a model, right? And then you can look at the observations and notice the observation. Hey, what's going on right here? You know, if you look, go away, click the zoom thing. What is that? There you go. If you notice right here, this is kind of curving up slightly right at the end there. So what's going on? What's the difference between these two? This is what flat earthers do. Like Anthony Riley, they look at that and go, "Oh, well, that's what are we living on a tiny ball world? And this isn't exactly right." Blah blah blah. And but they don't ever, you know, they go from that to it must be flat. No, what? No. It's here's the model. Here's the observation. Well, what does account for this? Well, there's a gigantic piece of land, like right here at the end, in before this tower. That's not in the frame anywhere because it's below the horizon. That's probably refraction. So, you know, they jump to these wild conclusions instead of figuring out how to refine the model that's already working. They're really bizarre behavior. This is one of Jesse's observations here. Oil platform Grace. That was popular at some point. Oh, look, this is the St. B's. This is either Alk or Miles Davis's observation here. Not sure whose it is. I guess here's the video right here. What video is that? Miles Davis. Yep, there you go. Nice. I didn't know he added that one. That's a nice one. So yeah, look at that. These wind farms right here. The Miles Davis captured around St. B's. And here's the Tesla, you know, and he like actually puts a model of the globe back, and then he overlays the Tesla picture based on the distance of where the Tesla was and based on the focal length of the camera. It works. Amazing. Imagine that. Here's the ISS. Exactly as it should be. Yeah, pretty cool page. Definitely go check out Walter's stuff. I mean, I always talk highly about Walter. He's got some great stuff. Okay, probably wrapping it up here unless anybody has any more questions for me. Anyone got anything planned for the equinox? I've been kind of going back and forth on that. Kaiser is going to lend me a equatorial mount. So yeah, I might do something. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do. It is next Saturday, so I might be able to actually go make the observation, but I don't know how my day is going to be. I don't think I can be there for the whole day, but it would be cool if I could. I'm also worried about weather, to be honest. John Phillips is a great debunker. I'll have to look him up. I've probably seen his stuff. Kaiser, give me a call in the morning. After this hangout, I'm gonna probably go get some shut eye. Wondering why he took rear view mirror out of the Tesla. Why does that even matter? I don't think Tesla. Does that model even have a rear view mirror? A lot of them have cameras, rear view cameras. Is that a conspiracy theory, guys? They're worried about the mirror being removed. I mean, in case no one else noticed, it was pretty much rotating around a lot, so you could see behind. NASA is cool. Wrench up. All right, NASA. You got a chance. But my boys in the chat here, my other moderators are going to give you a little test run here. So don't do anything crazy. Do I think the mirror would survive the launch? I think the mirror is more likely to survive than the windshield, to be honest. All right, cool. Dolphin off. Thanks. What's the highest part of the bridge at the 8 mile mark? 8 and 16 mark, right? What's the height? Jose, you want to jump in here? Or can you? I know you're having network issues earlier. Oh, yeah, you probably can't now. Well, Jose, once you get back on the, once you get your internet set up at your new place, let's do a little hangout. I can give you all the context you want if you want. But the height is actually on, let's see. Let's see. It's Causeway. Causeway.com, if I remember right. Let's see. Thecauseway.us. So thecauseway.us has this page here about clearance, marine clearance. Where is that page? Traffic cams, safety improvements, jobs, information, maybe? I don't know. Where's that marine clearance, man? Bascule? Here, marine traffic. There it is. All right, sweet. Okay, so marine traffic tells you the clearance, the vertical clearance. So the vertical clearance tells you uh, how tall a boat can be and still cross under it. And I don't know from there. I mean, you can do some estimates from there to figure out how tall it is, but it's pretty tall. So this is the Bascule right here at the 16 mile. And it says there's a 45 foot marine clearance. The South Pass, which is the 8 mile, says there's a 50-foot marine clearance. And then there's three humps. There's 3 fixed humps at the 4, 12, and 20 mile markers. And those have a 25-foot vertical clearance. The rest of the bridge has a vertical clearance of 15 feet. Northbound is 15 feet, southbound is 16 feet. So all the lower sections the same height, same vertical clearance. Yeah. So that should give you some information. And the things that stick out on the side are called fender systems. And let's go back to the chat here. Suspension stuff is a good question for, yeah, Kaiser, you're right. I'm a rocket man would know. He's a rocket engineer. No rearview mirror equals Earth is flat, question mark. And Argentina Flattered said that in your video of the planes that disappear on the horizon, they do not really hide behind it. Yeah, they do. Okay. That was an easy one. All right, just looking over the chat. They've run out of things to debunk. I'm a rocket man is the rocket engineer. Yep. He was he came to the eclipse with us. It's amazing how many people you meet in these debunking circles. All types of people from all different walks. There's some physicists that actually get involved in it, which I was surprised to find out. But yeah, there are some scientists, like legit scientists, that actually do get involved in this. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't come in with enough context. They don't understand the Gestalt. They don't understand the propaganda and how it's been, how we've combated this for the last few years. So they're way behind on the context, and they don't understand these arguments or what they even mean half the time when they say them. So a lot of times they just don't have an answer because they're like, "Whoa, I don't even know what you're talking about." There is definitely a culture of people that have learned, and it's the people that have been around for the last couple of years have learned like how flat earthers propagandize. They've learned how they do it. So, that's why whenever I see For me, it's really frustrating whenever I see, NBC, ABC, any of the major networks, or a major network doing a news article, um, like even a blog article by some of these reporters, the writers. Um, they always bring up flat Earth almost to like, I don't, maybe just clickbait or something. But what they do is they draw attention to these people. They draw attention to these con artists is what they're really doing, and that's exactly what the flat earthers want. That's why they did the billboards. They're just trying to draw attention to themselves, and that's what they get from these news articles and from these media articles, from these reports on the news. And the crazy thing is they got people like Jaron and Mark Sargent and all these people that I would say that we are contemporaries of, us debunkers, and we never get any press. And who do they bring in? They bring in Neil deGrasse Tyson. Neil deGrasse Tyson isn't on the front lines, man. He doesn't understand all the gish gallop that these flat earthers do. He doesn't understand the nonsense that they spew out or even how to respond to them. So he's just, I don't know. I think he's the wrong person to be interviewing, to be honest. I like Neil deGrasse Tyson. I do like him, but when it comes to interviewing somebody about these flat earthers, I mean, you should be talking to Reg Rhetoric or Sean Hufford, or one of those guys that have been around and dealing with these guys for years. Um, they can tell you the ins and outs of it and how they propagandize, how they go about conning people. They can tell you exactly how that happens. Or like a Mick West, even. Mick West has been doing this for years, with Metabunk, not just flat Earth, but other stuff. But interview Mick West. That's a good person to interview. He was on with Joe Rogan at one point, which was good. So I was actually a little disappointed because I actually called up Mick right after that. He was on with Joe Rogan, and they got to a point where they were talking about, seeing the curvature from the ground. I was like, please mention me. Come on, Mick. And he didn't mention me. And I called him up after and I said, Mick, come on, man. Come on, man. You got to give me a shout out next time you're on Joe's show. So, hopefully that happens one day. That'd be great. But, it's got to be patient. It'll happen eventually. Sally Reds, Sean, all equals debunkers. What? Factoid, I don't understand. Say it again. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson, it says they're not worth his time. I mean, I do agree. I do agree. I mean, I kind of feel that way sometimes too, right? They're not really worth my time, but I feel like it's worth my time to actually put this stuff out so that people that are on the fence can, um, they can actually have a chance to not be conned. And that's why I do what I do, and I think that's why Sean and Reds do what they do, because they want people. They really do get. Red's Rhetoric is a character, and he plays the badass. He does, but he has a good heart. He really does. He has a good heart. When you talk to Reds, just in a one-on-one conversation, dude has a really good heart. I mean, he wants to help people out, and he recognizes that there are some people that, they're not on the fence. They're probably not even flat earthers. They're the flat earth gurus. They're the shepherds of flat earth, and those guys know that they're lying to people, and that they intentionally lie to people. They've been caught intentionally lying to people, and that gets under his skin. It gets under my skin too, but his response to it is to mock them and ridicule them, which I do at times as well. But I try to keep it more civil, just because the mockery and ridicule has a tendency to push away, the fence riders, right? They don't like that. So I try, I have a different approach than Reds. I like Red's approach. He is who he is. He's his own man, and he does a lot of good work. Um, um, and I'm at times I'm the same way. I'm not at all criticizing Red's rhetoric. Let me put it that way. I think he's done some awesome stuff. We're just different types of personalities. But the point I'm trying to make is that Red's rhetoric has a very good heart, and whenever you have a genuine conversation about this stuff, he will take the time to reach out to a fence rider or somebody that's asking genuine questions and give them the answers. It's like, look, this is what explains that. And if the person's responsive to it, you know, he'll keep doing it. He'll keep talking to them, and he really will. He'll spend a lot of time on a person to try and help them out of the rabbit hole. Uh, and that I respect that, because he does have a good heart. He's fun to watch on the non sequitur, I can tell you that. Danger Man 5, yeah. Most everything that flat earthers talk about these days can be explained pretty easily. I mean, we've seen it so many times. We know how to answer them now. Ninja Man, of course, I criticize Nathan Oakley because he is one of those flat earth gurus that is intentionally lying to people. Of course. Why wouldn't I criticize him? Red's rhetoric isn't lying to people. Red's rhetoric is telling the truth. He's providing good information, experiments. There's no reason to criticize him because he is telling the truth. He just gets pissed off at these flat earth gurus that are lying to people. And they are, and I get pissed off too. We just respond differently, me and him. But I respect the way he responds because it needs to happen. I mean, there needs to be some mockery of these con artists. That needs to happen. Nothing new under the sun. Yeah, that's true. Cool hard logic. Yeah, that's another great one. Cool hard logic has definitely been debunking flat earthers for a long time. Yeah, exactly. So my guidelines, I've said it a bunch of times. Um, my guidelines are really straightforward. Free speech, number one. Um, I like leaving the chat open. I don't like blocking people. I don't like muting people. I don't like timeouts. But there are times when it's necessary, and my my moderators know that. And occasionally it gets out of hand, and too many people get blocked. And you know what? I just go clean it up. Just go unblock people. But yeah, Godless Engineer's been doing a lot of stuff lately. Yeah, there's a bunch of them out there now. Whole bunch of them out there. Hith is another one, and some of the new guys, Conspiracy Cats and Cyman Dan. Those guys are doing a good job. Sure would like to get some of those Cyman Dan subs though, I'll tell you. And I say that because I've been trying to figure out a way for the last couple of years to, to catch the fence riders first. The fence riders that for some reason they come in. I don't know how they get trapped, but they get trapped into the train wreck first. They're like, "What's this flat Earth stuff? Search flat Earth," and they search flat Earth, and they run into Nathan Oakley and Jaronism and Globe Busters and all the flat Earth core people. It's amazing. Their marketing is amazing. Like somehow they're in all the search results. It's it's crazy. Bullionator says, "Do you think Cyman Dan bought his subs soundly?" I don't think so. I don't think anybody should even be accusing him of that. I think it's ridiculous, to be honest, to accuse him of that. Me and Tim Osmond disagree on that account, right? I really like Tim Osmond, and I know a lot of people have had problems with Tim in the past, but I've never had a problem with Tim Osmond. Me and him have always had really good conversations. Really like the guy. He's doing some good observations lately as well. And Tim thinks that Simon Dan maybe bought the subs, or at least that's what his video that he released, indicates. But I don't think he did. And the reason why I say that, a lot of people, I think I'm actually in the minority here. A lot of people think he did buy the subs, but the reason why I say that is because he was on trending. Now, I don't know how he got to trending, but he got to trending. And when you get to trending, dude, you're talking about billions of people, like billions of people worldwide that all know about YouTube, that all come to trending and look to see what's, popular going on right now. And if you hit the trending page, dude, I mean, you're going to get subs. Of course you will. Shoot, I mean, that really should be the goal of any YouTuber. Hit the trending page. You're going to get subs that way. No doubt about it. Whoa, about broke my chair. Yeah, Tim Osman is an awesome guy. Bullion Hater says, unless he's sniping. Yeah, I disagree with his methods. I've never been sniped by Tim, so I think he just snipes people he doesn't like, and I disagree with that, of course. But I don't really hold it against him. I guess there's so many things that people have done worse than what Tim has done. So, and plus that was years ago. I can't remember the last time Tim was accused of sniping. I mean, years ago, whenever he was, still, I guess, I don't know, maybe a phase or something. He used to snipe all the time, but lately he hasn't been sniping. He hasn't been sniping at all. And I think he got blamed for P Mars doing some sniping, but it wasn't Tim. Tabletop experiment sounds interesting. Homestar. Yeah, Homestar, this hangout's kind of gone too long, but I started off with just doing the tabletop flat earth perspective experiment that they all use as a con. And I just showed my own experiment, and showing that if you actually line things up, use a laser level, it's straight, it just demonstrates regular perspective. It's okay, Homestar, no worries. Actually, if you look at these hangouts, I get most of my views after the hangout is over. It's probably a time zone thing. I got a lot of subscribers in the UK, I think. Yeah, just watch the beginning of it, Homestar. Like, really, the majority of this hangout is just me chit chatting with people in the chat. But the beginning of it is where I provide my observations of the tabletop experiment. So, and here's the thing: to do that type of experiment and to do it right, all you need is like a laser level, some dominoes. You're talking about $30, $40. Later, Mercury Messenger 7. What is Ninja Man saying? Wow, you guys actually flat earthers are con men. Ninja Man, there are absolutely flat earth gurus that are con men. That's not even a question, dude. Like that, they do that. You can tell by the way they talk. You can tell by the things they say. You can tell about how they try and trick people with word salad, and they're conflating terms like perspective. They conflate perspective. What they call perspective is not perspective at all. We know what perspective is, and what they call a refraction is not refraction at all. We know how refraction works, especially standard refraction, and then we also know how looming works and how sinking works. And we know how these things work, so it's not a question at all that they're con men, because they're using these terms intentionally. After all these years of us explaining to them how they're wrong, they know the correct answer now, and they intentionally avoid the correct answer and they intentionally conflate the terminology, that is the sign of a con man. They are con men. That's exactly what's going on. Like take the Hungarian flat Earth laser experiment that Flat Earth Core was supposed to do. Whatever happened to that? Where are the results for that? Huh? Where is it? Well, they they had a failed test, so they didn't publish results. Just like Jaron, whenever he was doing his laser test, he had a failed test, didn't publish results. That's what they do. You know, they're con men. Um, and the reality is, I could easily set up a flat Earth channel and go out to Lake Pontchartrain and take advantage of high refraction days, because there are situations where I can get very high refraction, and I could go to the other side. I'm fairly certain that I could go to the other side of the lake and shoot a laser right on the horizon, and I bet I can make it bend all the way around to where you can see it, and that's 24 miles. But that same horizon is obstructing Three Lakeway Center 200 feet. You understand? So yes, there's atmospheric conditions, and yes, they avoid showing the 200 feet of obstruction. You know, other than Jose. Jose actually showed it, and so did Johnny Oops. I don't think Johnny Oops meant to. I don't think he knew what he was filming, but there is no 500-mile infrared view of a mountain, Ninja Man. That's already been disproven by very simple lines of sight and just drawing lines on Google Earth. Who was it? Greater Sapien showed that the direction that the photograph is taken from is not the correct direction for where those mountains should be. So that's not what happened. And that's how you get conned. See, that's what I'm talking about. These guys are con men, Ninja. You just got conned by that. If you think that they actually saw 500 miles with infrared, then you got conned. Yes, exactly. Please try and keep up, Ninja. This is the problem, Ninja Man. You know, you guys go to your shepherds, you see these observations, you hear their explanations, and you believe what they say. Sadly, I don't think the curve calculator really helps people understand refraction. Ninja Man, we're telling you the truth. You're one of those guys that I would love to help out. I would love to show you all the evidence, but at the end of the day, you just want to believe what your shepherds say. You don't think it helps understand refraction? Walter Bislin's app is pretty good. If we go back to this, go back to Walter's app here, right? Let's go to the transmission lines. This is actually a very good example right here. Let's skip ahead here. Let's pause right here. So we can do this comparison here. Let me go full screen. So let's do this comparison. Globe plus flat Earth side by side. Oh, wait, something's wrong. Where is it? Is it broken? Globe plus flat. Here we go. Here it is. Okay, here's the comparison. So here's the comparison of the transmission lines on a globe model versus transmission lines on a flat model. And then we can grab this refraction slider here, and let's crank up the refraction. Now, what should happen if the refraction gets cranked up is that the flat Earth model is just going to raise up, whereas the globe Earth model is going to straighten out. So let's do that. Crank that up. Well, actually, it's going the flat Earth one's going down. So that's what happens with refraction right there. So you can actually use this little thing right here, this little slider that Walter's put in, and play with the refraction levels. You see, and he usually sets it to like standard refraction or pretty close, based on the observation. This is what should happen, you see, and that's what's not. This is what doesn't happen, right? So this would be like extreme looming conditions. So if you had extreme looming conditions, you could in fact see the transmission lines on a globe appear to be flat. The problem with this is that it doesn't take into account the atmospheric conditions that would occur in this case. So what would occur in extreme looming conditions is severe atmospheric turbulence, and you wouldn't ever be able to get this photograph here because the turbulence in the air would just be so bad you wouldn't be able to see through it. It'd just be a big blur down there. Um, but under good conditions, low humidity and the water temperature and air temperature are the same. It's like super crisp, hard horizons. There's the curve. It's whenever you have good seeing conditions, you see the curve. It's just that simple. It really comes down to that. Keep doing videos and more new observations soundly. Hopefully, I can make it happen and meet in December to collaborate with some new footage on Pontchartrain. Then I will have no excuses. Jose, I'd love to have you out here in December, man. It'd be great. So Jose has talked. We've talked. Me and Jose have talked about him coming back out in December. Obviously, it's going to depend on if he can make it or not. But if he can make it, we're going to try and do like a little collaborative observations. Now, in Jose, it doesn't have to necessarily be December either. I mean, November's still pretty good. I mean, we could probably find some good days in November, December, or January. So anywhere around those months, just let me know when you can make it. We'll do it. Yes, Mark Sargent. Yeah, he's another one of the conmen. And so is Patricia Steer. Danger Man 5, but they say if the curve is greater than standard refraction, then it proves flat Earth. What? If just they say if the curve is greater than standard refraction, then it proves flat Earth. That makes no sense. As refraction goes up, right? As refraction gets higher, refraction levels get higher. The observation gets straightened out. It starts to look flatter and flatter as refraction goes higher. So with no atmosphere at all, right? Let's say there's zero refraction. There are conditions when you could potentially get zero refraction, and it's when you have, um, you know, it's when the atmospheric conditions cancel standard refraction, which can happen. Uh, when that happens, it's more curved. So what flat earthers are claiming is that refraction is the cause of the curve, when in fact standard refraction conditions actually make the curve less apparent. So refraction works exactly opposite than what they claim. What? I just lost something. Somebody. There it is. Solid space reality soundly is flat Earth synonymous with Mandela effect and multiverse theory? No, those are different groups of conspiracy-minded people. Mandela effect, especially. Multiverse theory, that's a scientific theory. Of course, there's a lot of conspiracy people that run wild with that idea, but Jared Soundly, isn't December, January timeframe when Red is thinking of coming up for the same thing? Yes. Red's Rhetoric is planning on coming out in December. I mean, it just depending on what Red wants to do. Red's kind of private, so probably Red's observation weekend and Jose's observation weekend might happen on different weekends, just depending on what Reds wants to do. It's just going to depend on what Reds wants to do. Me and Red still have to work it out when he's coming, but yeah, I'm definitely slating a time for Reds. He's first on the list, so we'll have to work around his schedule. Bullinator, I feel sorry for Reds right now. What's going on with Reds? Did I miss something? Scott Meyer, have you seen Flat Out? Is Scott Meyer asking me that? Flat. What is it? Is Flat Out different than Flat Earth Hero? Yeah, they're two different people. I'm sure I have seen Flat Out. I'd give me something more specific, Scott. Bob. Yes. Dang it. This thing jumps around too much. Exactly what I was saying, Bullionator. They don't understand that refraction actually makes things look flatter. That's correct. That's exactly what I was saying. They don't get that. Well, I think they do get it actually. I think they get it. The shepherds do. The sheep don't. You know, the flat earth sheep, the minions don't get it. They just believe whatever the shepherds tell them. It's which is ironic, really, because basically, you know what flat earthers do? This is one of their strategies, actually. The gurus is they say everything that could be said against them, uh, so that whenever you say it, it's like you're repeating it, but it only applies to them. They're projecting. That's what they're doing. Bodie McBoatface. It's been a long time. Good to see you. I'm just reading the chat now, guys. So, Flat Out wants to debate you. I don't really do debates anymore, because there's no such thing as a flat Earth debate. Um, the closest thing to it is the non sequitur show, when people have rules. There's designated amount of time. You're supposed to bring your model, but the problem is, Danger Man 5, is that they have nothing to debate. I made this point in one of my recent videos that they don't use the scientific method. They don't have a model. If you don't have a model, then there's nothing to talk about. Uh, they're talking about doing tests. What are they testing? They're talking about doing experiments. Experimenting on what? Like, what are they actually trying to test? Either they don't have a model or they do. Which one is it? If they have a model, then give it to us and let us evaluate it. If they don't have a model, which is what most of them claim, that they don't have a model, then there's nothing to debate. At that point, it's just idle speculation and wishes and gish gallop and advertisement for them. I'm disinterested in advertising for Flat Out, and that's exactly what he's after. That's what these guys are all after. They're after advertisement so they can get more clicks on their videos. But all that said, I'm not unwilling to have a conversation with somebody. But if they actually think we're going to have a debate, that's just silly. There is no debate. The only model that exists is the globe, and it works for everything. I'm going to have to look up Flat Out now. Oh, he's a spoof Flat Earth channel. Yeah. I might not convince Jose. I'm not really trying to convince. That's the whole thing. I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm just trying to provide information for people that are fence riding, so they can make their own minds up. Um, I just I like I like doing joint observations. It makes things a lot more, uh, I guess, transparent. You know, it's like, if hey, come and do observations with me. If they come and do observations, then they have the same type of footage that I have, and at that point, what is there to say? The whole idea that basically the only thing that flat earthers have against these observations now is to call it fake. So when you have flat earthers actually making the same observations, they can't call it fake anymore. So that's basically like the last hurdle to completely destroy them. Of course, most of us know that the only people that actually think it's fake are the really crazy ones, really, really far out. I'm trying to do that with a flat earther here in Florida. AT? Oh, yeah, I do remember AT. Is that Tampa? He was in Tampa? Bullionator? Is that the guy? All right, everybody. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, debunking the conspiracy mindset. Yeah, I've thought about that. There's actually other things that I could be debunking, like some of the other skeptics do. I've just been focused on flat Earth for a few years just because of the observations I've made. I've been thinking about debunking other things. Chemtrails is one of them that I've been thinking about. Um, I just dropped my Allen wrench. Dang it. Anyway, I'll find it later. Um, so yeah, I've been thinking about that. I can't really take the whole the the religious debunking uh, route because I'm Christian. I definitely think there's stuff to be debunked even from a Christian standpoint. But I can't really get into that without kind of crossing some lines that I don't think I should cross, because um, they're just, they're kind of, I don't know if you want to call it guidelines, rules, or whatever. There's stuff in the Bible. I'm a Christian, and there's wisdom in the Bible about how to rebuke your fellow Christians, and I think blasting them on YouTube isn't the way to go when it comes to matters of religion. So I kind of avoid that whole stuff. But evolution is another good one. I could probably go that route. I could do evolution. Um, any of the stuff based on physics, 9/11. 9/11's been kind of overdone, though. Nibiru. I mean, there's a bunch of them out there now that I could do. I like debunking flat earthers. It's just so easy. Alrighty then. I think that's pretty much it, fellas, ladies and gentlemen. And I appreciate you guys stopping by. Climate change, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Debunk Australia. What? How do I debunk Australia? Wolfie lives there. Yes, good night, guys. I think that's it. I'm going to shut it down. Thanks for stopping by. And anytime that you guys have somebody doing one of those uh, tabletop perspective experiments, just point them at this video. Talk to you guys later. Bye.